As a 13-year-old girl with rather poor eyesight, I was never much of an outdoor person. I preferred staying inside my room, harboring a dislike for venturing out due to a persistent feeling of unease and anxiety around everyone, family and strangers alike. Despite my reluctance, my parents decided to challenge my comfort zone and sent me, along with my younger sister, on a one-week camping trip in the wonderful month of August. Upon arriving at the campground, I was introduced to our camp leaders, 3 individuals aged between 19 and 22. Soon, I found myself in a tent with a few other girls, setting up our sleeping bags for the night. Sleep eluded us, with the others engrossed in late-night chatter while I quietly listened. Morning broke, and we were all visibly fatigued, a condition I was accustomed to given my irregular sleep schedule of about 4 hours a week. Over the next few days, we engaged in typical camp activities, learning how to start a fire, identifying plants, and spotting deer. However, as the days passed uneventfully, my desire to return home grew stronger. On the second-to-last night, my restlessness reached a peak. Unable to sleep, I resorted to a subtle nightlight to read, careful not to disturb my tent mates. It was during this silent moment that I felt an unusual hush settle over the campground. Brushing off the unease, I convinced myself to enjoy the rare tranquility. Yet, the stillness was shattered when the girl next to me awoke, expressing her fear of going to the bathroom alone in the dark. Despite my reluctance, I offered a comforting smile and agreed to accompany her. With a twisted ankle from a prior mishap, I trudged into the woods with the slightly taller girl. About 100 feet in, as she attended to nature's call, an overwhelming sense of dread washed over me. In the darkness, I noticed movement and instinctively pointed my flashlight towards it. To my horror, a figure stood just beyond the light's reach, a girl resembling my sister. Yet, the closer I looked, the more I noticed the grotesque details. Her skeletal form, every bone visible, and her joints appearing broken. Confused, I turned to the girl beside me, only to hear my sister's voice calling out from a distance, an eerie repetition that defied logic. Panic set in as we ran back to the campsite, the creature attempting to keep pace. Despite the pain in my ankle, I didn't stop until we reached safety. Back in the tent, the smell of rotten iron filled the air, a scent familiar from my years on a farm. A quick lie about someone taking a dump nearby quelled suspicion, allowing the others to resume their sleep. Throughout the night, I kept vigil, staring out of the tent's window. The figure lingered, no longer resembling my sister but morphing into the visage of my mother, wearing a creepy smile with milky white eyes. The encounter left me on edge, but I focused on surviving the night and returning home. Morning brought relief, and we went through our usual camp activities. As we bid farewell the following day, I packed my unsettling experience with me. It was only when I reunited with my real sister at home that the tension eased. Reflecting on that harrowing night, I made a firm decision: I would never go camping again. The experience had left an indelible mark on my psyche, forever altering my perception of the tranquility of the outdoors. In the quiet expanse of the mystical Oregon highlands, an unexpected journey unfolded, weaving a tale of both natural disaster and the sinister underbelly of human trafficking. My tranquil camping trip in the obscure reaches of the Enchanted Cascades turned into a crucible of survival, forever altering my perception of chance and fate. The saga began in early September when the Pacific Northwest found itself in the merciless grip of unrelenting wildfires. Despite the fiery chaos consuming the maps of California, Oregon, and Washington, my chosen haven remained untouched, prompting me to embark on my planned camping retreat. Nestled in the heart of the Enchanted Cascades, my secluded spot required a 2-hour drive up a winding road into the middle of nowhere, followed by a 30-minute trek up an old logging road that crested a small mountain. As dusk descended upon the enchanted valley, I reveled in the solitude, surrounded by fallen logs, pink and yellow yarrow flowers, and occasional white-tailed deer. Little did I know, this serene setting would soon be juxtaposed against the malevolent forces lurking in the shadows. The night took a chilling turn when, on that secluded mountaintop, I noticed two small, circular lights in the distance. These mysterious orbs flickered as they traversed the trees with an eerie grace, eventually revealing themselves as motorcycle headlights. Bewilderment seized me as the hum of engines echoed through the valley. In the unsettling darkness, I crouched behind my truck, silently observing. The lights halted at the tree line, and the hum persisted, indicating the riders were on foot. Curiosity gripped me, and I fumbled for my phone in the glove box, pondering the oddity of encountering fellow adventurers in this desolate landscape. However, caution prevailed, as recent warnings of suspicious individuals starting wildfires flashed in my mind. In a moment of folly, I unwittingly illuminated my truck, inadvertently alerting the enigmatic duo to my presence. In the ensuing adrenaline-fueled panic, the motorcycle lights retreated, leaving behind an unsettling silence. Paranoia enveloped me as I grappled with the possibility of encountering arsonists or worse. Deciding discretion was paramount, I packed up my camp, retreated down the logging road, and nestled my truck into a concealed spot, bracing for the unknown. Morning broke with an unsettling revelation. Thick smoke wafted through the air, and the acrid scent of burning wood engulfed me. Racing back up the mountain, dread coursed through my veins as I witnessed the approaching inferno. Trapped between the encroaching flames and the memory of the mysterious riders, I grappled with the severity of my predicament. In this dire moment, a fortuitous signal on my GPS satellite phone became my lifeline. With a call to 911, I relayed my location and the impending danger. A helicopter rescue was initiated, and as I gazed upon my fiery purgatory, I couldn't shake the feeling that something far more sinister lurked beneath the surface. Upon landing at the base camp, relief washed over me, but the ordeal was far from over. State police, EMTs, and eventually, federal agents became part of my narrative. The climax unfolded during an interview with two enigmatic FBI agents who shed light on the eerie events. Unbeknownst to me, my inadvertent intrusion had disrupted a human trafficking operation. Unlocking my truck had spooked the traffickers, triggering their hasty retreat and the initiation of a destructive fire to erase evidence. The woman I stumbled upon, a victim of this nefarious trade, had been kidnapped from Nicaragua alongside her daughter. Miraculously, she now found herself in the protective custody of the government, awaiting repatriation. As the agents departed, they left me with the resonating words, "You were at the right place at the right time." The enchanted Cascades, once my sanctuary, had become the stage for an unexpected dance between fate and human depravity. In the aftermath, I couldn't shake the surreal fusion of natural calamity and the sinister undercurrents of criminality that unfolded in that mystical realm. Around 26 years ago, when I was just 14, my parents gifted me a pup tent for my monthly Boy Scout campouts. Given my age and size, it seemed like a good idea, especially since the high school kids had turned the previous campouts into a series of painful experiences, leaving me covered in bruises. The tent was a modest A-frame design, dark green in color, measuring about 6 feet long and 3 feet high. It had a zippered mosquito net entrance on one side, a central zipper, and zippers on each side. An additional rain cover, secured with 2 sets of binding straps, completed the setup. During every camping trip, the first task was to clear the area of debris, which, in this case, involved sticks and long grass. We used lawn mowers from the Scoutmaster's trailer to tackle the task. On this particular outing, after a day of activities, I decided to set up my small tent outside, about 15 to 20 feet away from the larger 8-person tents that housed the rest of the kids. The tent was cramped, allowing barely enough room to sit upright and only just enough space to turn around without brushing against the sides. I crawled into my blue summer sleeping bag, zipped it up, ensured my camping pack was by my feet, and settled in for the night. Sometime in the middle of the night, I was jolted awake by the unmistakable sound of someone fiddling with the zipper. Given the solitude of my tent, the sound was enough to rouse me from my slumber. Instinctively, I reached for my flashlight, a mini mag light, clasping it firmly in my right hand. As I sat up and shone the light towards my feet, what I saw defied comprehension. There, with her head and shoulders inside my tent, fumbling with my backpack, was a girl, or at least something that resembled a girl. Her upper body, exposed due to a lack of clothing, revealed a pale green hue. My view was obstructed by my size 12 feet, preventing me from seeing her chest. Strands of hair, a deeper forest green, were tied back in what I can only describe as dreadlocks adorned with ivy leaves. Her facial features were strikingly beautiful, with high cheekbones and cat-like pupils that marked her brown eyes. Dark lips, not quite black but close, accentuated her unearthly appearance. It took a moment for my bewildered mind to process the scene. The intruder hissed and bared sharp, dog-like teeth as I illuminated the space with my flashlight. Reacting swiftly, she pulled herself out of the confined space and vanished into the night. Along with her disappearance, my snacks hidden in the backpack were also gone. Despite the brevity of the encounter, lasting less than 2 minutes, the experience left an indelible mark on me. From that point on, my pup tent served a different purpose. It became a storage unit for extra gear rather than a solitary sleeping space. The memory lingered, and to this day, I carry a lingering wariness of nature. It's a tale I seldom share, as who would believe such a bizarre encounter? Nonetheless, the memory continues to haunt me. Nestled deep within the enigmatic confines of Eldoria's mystical mountains, my step-grandparents owned a vast expanse of land in Morgan's Peak, a remote and secluded region of this fantastical realm. My siblings and I spent countless hours exploring the enchanted woods that sprawled right behind our grandparents' weathered abode. Fast forward 2 decades, and the echoes of their laughter have long faded, replaced by the eerie whispers of an otherworldly presence. In the shadow of Morgan's Peak, where the whispers of ancient trees dance with the secrets of the wind, I find solace in the solitude of camping on the private property that still bears the imprint of my grandparents' legacy. The isolation is profound. Encounters with fellow travelers are as rare as the elusive creatures said to roam these mystical lands. One night, while ensconced in the confines of a weather-beaten trailer with 2 steadfast friends, the tranquility of our camp was shattered by a cacophony that defied explanation. A resonating wind, accompanied by an inexplicable vibration, seized the trailer, shaking it with an otherworldly force that defied the laws of nature. For a surreal 30 to 45 seconds, we clung to each other in bewildered silence. Abruptly, as if the mountain itself had exhaled, the tumult ceased. The door creaked open to reveal a world unchanged, a serene landscape untouched by the disturbance that had shaken our refuge. On a separate occasion, I led my friends on a hike to a hidden cabin, a forgotten relic nestled amidst the towering trees. As we ascended through the gate that guarded the secrets of the woods, I encountered a creature that blurred the boundaries between reality and fantasy. A colossal dog, its coat as white as the moon, and eyes as dark as the abyss, sat motionless in our path. A silent sentinel, it regarded me with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. Bewildered, I motioned for my friends to retreat, only to discover that they saw no such creature. The phantom hound vanished into the tapestry of the forest, leaving only questions in its wake. Gathering wood for a fire on the opposite hillside, we bore witness to a surreal spectacle, a door, ethereal and inexplicable, suspended at the base of ancient trees. A collective gasp escaped our lips as we beheld this spectral portal, its form perfect, complete with a window and doorknob. Yet, despite the impossibility before us, we were bereft of photographic evidence, our lack of cell phones rendering the apparition a fleeting enigma. These perplexing tales merely scratch the surface of the anomalies that define Morgan's Peak. It is a place suspended between reality and fantasy, where the line between the known and the unknowable blurs, and every rustle of the wind carries with it the whispers of a realm beyond our understanding. The mountains of Eldoria guard their secrets, and in their shadows, I continue to explore, forever entwined with the mysteries that haunt this strange and wondrous place. The decision to embark on a camping trip in northern Ontario, Canada, was born out of a desire to escape the tumultuous world, a choice my mom and I made in pursuit of serenity amidst the breathtaking landscapes. Enthusiastically, we invited our friend, whom we'll refer to as Phoenix, to join us on this adventure. The journey commenced on July 7th, a long and tiring drive of 5.5 hours. Despite the fatigue, the beauty of the surroundings uplifted our spirits upon reaching our destination. The initial days were idyllic, fishing, swimming, and hiking through the scenic trails. Nature embraced us with open arms, and the weather seemed to conspire in our favor. It was a dream come true, until the tranquility was disrupted by strange noises that reverberated through the night air. Our tent became the stage for an eerie symphony that left me uneasy, unlike my mother and Phoenix, who casually dismissed it as the sounds of nocturnal woodland creatures. As the days passed, the enigmatic noises persisted, always emanating from the left side of our camp, in the heart of a remote area with just one neighboring campsite on our right. Despite my reservations, I attributed the sounds to the mysterious inhabitants of the forest. However, as the sun dipped below the horizon on the second-to-last night, a disconcerting twist awaited. After extinguishing the campfire, we retired to our tents. Exhausted, I succumbed to sleep swiftly, only to be abruptly awakened by the unmistakable sound of footsteps prowling outside. In a foggy daze, I glanced at my peacefully sleeping companions. Confusion mingled with fear as I realized I wasn't alone in my awareness of the nocturnal visitor. The footsteps transformed into a frantic run, echoing into the depths of the woods. I lay there in silence, my senses heightened and adrenaline coursing through my veins. Falling back into a restless slumber seemed unwise, yet fatigue betrayed my caution. A subsequent awakening jolted me upright, as the footsteps returned, now ominously closer. I nudged my mom and pointed toward the source, but her response was a dismissive mumble about raccoons, as she sank back into oblivious sleep. The rustling ceased momentarily, replaced by an eerie silence that weighed heavy on my nerves. Suddenly, a cold hand clamped around my leg, shattering the silence with a blood-curdling scream. My mom and Phoenix awoke to the cacophony, but the intruder was swift, retreating into the shadows. As I trembled beneath my covers, a surreal sight unfolded in the moonlight, a creature with hooves and antlers, standing on two legs, its thin, towering form outlined against the night. The encounter was brief but terrifying, and in that moment, survival became paramount. We hastily packed our belongings, leaving the tent behind, and sped away from the campsite. Panic-stricken, my mom dialed 911, narrating the surreal encounter to the authorities. A police escort ensured our safety until we exited the park, but the subsequent search yielded no trace of the mysterious entity. The night became a haunting memory, etched into my consciousness. Sleep eluded me, even in the safety of my own home. The harrowing experience altered my perspective, instilling a perpetual vigilance. Subsequent camping trips became an unthinkable prospect, the trauma of that night lingering like an unwelcome specter. The forest's mysteries remained unresolved, a testament to the inexplicable terrors that can lurk in the darkness.